Lance, a religion cannot be native to any land. There are Chinese Jews, I've met them. There are Vietnamese Jews, I've met them. They're not native to the land of Palestine. There are African Jews. They're not native to the land of Palestine either. There are Ashkenazi Jews who are entirely European in their DNA. That's why you're not allowed to have a DNA test in Israel, because it will reveal that virtually none of them are Semitic, virtually none of them have any ancestral connection to the land.
Today we are going to debunk this claim by George Galloway. It is absolutely ludicrous to claim that Ashkenazi Jews are not Semitic and have no origin in the Holy Land. In today's video, I'm going to be using a tool called Vahaduo, which is like a medium level DNA analysis tool. What I'm going to be doing is first showing ancient populations. So I'll be using my own DNA. I'm using a African-American man's DNA. I also have maybe 10 different samples of Ashkenazi Jews from different parts of Europe. I have an Assyrian person and a Palestinian person as well. And so we'll be looking at an ancient analysis, what our DNA best represents of an ancient mixture. And then also we'll show in the modern day where these groups kind of cluster, if you may. So let's do this first with a little history lesson. So for those who don't know, according to the Hebrew Bible, the Israelites lived in the land of Israel approximately from the years maybe like 1600 BC up until 70 AD. I mean, there was still a remnant in the land after that, but most of them were expelled in 70 AD. So there was already a big base in Babylon, over here in Iraq. But once they destroyed the temple and then sent them all into exile, they were sent all over, into Asia Minor, Greece, Italy, North Africa, Spain, pretty much anywhere in the Roman Empire at that time. And the Roman Empire at that time pretty much had all of North Africa and, most of Europe and Asia Minor and the Middle East. So they were dispersed into all the nations. Now, since we're specifically talking about Ashkenazi Jews and debunking this claim that they are not Semitic, according to the NIH, the founding event of the Ashkenazi Jews predates the 14th century. So what this means is, because Ashkenazi Jews are so genetically close to each other, they somehow, and I'm not, a scientist, so I can't give you the scientific explanation, somehow they know that everyone derives from this group of people, this, handful of people before the 14th century, because they're all very, very closely related. So around this time in the, 10th century to 14th century, Jews are very established in southern Italy, also, in Greece and North Africa, even in Spain as well, especially during the Muslim conquest of Spain, they were pretty tolerant of the Jews. So there was a big Jewish center in Spain as well. So what we're going to do, though, is show, with me, I'm half Southern Italian and half Northwestern European. So my family is primarily from this area, a bit east of Rome, a little bit lower, and primarily from like France, Germany, England, Ireland. So that's my mixture. So I kind of, in the models, I kind of am right here in northern Italy, because that's the midpoint between, this kind of Northwestern Europe and Southern Italy is kind of right here. So what you would expect for someone who is Ashkenazi, you would expect that they have a origin in the Levant, and they also have, a strong Southern Italian component as well, which you will see shortly. So they kind of cluster around Southern Italians because they have that Southern Italian cluster, as you'll see. So The first thing I want to dive into first, though, is just the ancient analysis. So for the ancient analysis, you see there are all of these different groups. So you have Albanians from the Bronze Age to Iron Age, Argentinians, Armenians from all the different ages, and you just keep going. There's probably 1,000 different samples from all over the world. Now, what we are going to do is to pick what's the logical combination. We're going to limit it just to 5 populations. Which 5 ancient populations best describe the people? Okay, so for the populations that I'm using to compare, I have myself. So you see me at the top, you have Spada. I have an African American person. I have a few Ashkenazi samples. I have an Assyrian sample as well. So the Assyrians were in control of, the land of Israel. I believe in the 6th century BC. I also have a modern Palestinian person from Beit Sahur, and I also have a Samaritan person. So the Samaritans were very strict about not marrying outside of the group, so they should represent a good ancient Israelite sample. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 5 population calculation. So for all of us, it's going to show what's our most likely 5 ancient populations that best represent our specific DNA. So I'm going to run that and we're going to see what comes up. So the Samaritan, we got Turkey, you got a bunch of 2 Israels from the Iron Age, Late Bronze Age, Israel, I think a Chalcolithic, I forget how to say, and then Syria, early Middle Bronze Age. So that makes sense. So the Samaritan's a mix of Turkish, Caucasus, ancient Israelite, Syrian. So remarkably pretty solid. So you can say a Samaritan person definitely has origins from the Iron Age and the Late Bronze Age of Israel. Palestinian from Beit Sahur, so a whopping 40% Italy Imperial. So Italy Imperial doesn't necessarily mean that it's Southern Italian, but at this time when the Roman Empire was taking in all of these people from the newly conquered lands, it really shifted the Roman genome, I guess you could say, to the more east. 33% Jordan from the Late Bronze Age. You got some Mycenaean Greek in there, Jordan as well, Iran. So mostly Middle Eastern with a bit of Greek mixed in, which is normal because the Greeks were, colonizing a lot of different areas in the Mediterranean. Let's see, the Assyrian. We got so there was someone from the Levant that was found in Iron Age Italy, Armenia, Turkey, Uzbekistan, Armenia. So pretty reasonable. Ashkenazi, Ukraine, Hungary, and then you got Turkey, and Spain. So this one from Ukraine doesn't have an Israel founding in this calculator, so the closest thing would be Turkey from the Bronze Age. A lot of the Israeli samples or the Israelite samples are very close to the ones in Turkey. The Hittites and Canaanites were distinct, but not so distinct. So we got Ashkenazi Russia, whopping 36% from Jordan, Late Bronze Age. So that's definitely it's definitely Semitic, right? Germany, Spain, Ukraine, Mongolia. This Romanian one. We got medieval Italy, Turkey, early modern, I don't know if Faro is, Moldova, Morocco, Ashkenazi Poland. You got Hungary, Jordan showing up again, Late Bronze Age. Shows a Semitic sample. This one from Lithuania. We got Sweden, Turkey, Italy, here again, Jordan. Ashkenazi Latvia. You got Turkey, Israel for this Ashkenazi from Germany. From this one from France, you got Germany, Turkey, Morocco. This one from Belarusia, you got 33.2% Jordan, Israel, Ashkelon from the Iron Age. So that's, almost 50% from the Middle East. This Austrian Jew, you got 24% Israel 30%, Turkey 15.2% Italian. African American makes sense. You got half from the Congo, 80%, actually 83% from the Congo, Iceland, Morocco. And then you got me. So for me, 33% England, 25% Ukraine, 21.2% Norway, and then we got 13.8% Israel from the late Bronze Age, and then from Turkey as well. So a lot of the Italian or Southern European is probably being absorbed by the Ukraine Sumerians right now. But remember, this isn't like an exact science. It's just a best calculation based on Euclidean distances. So a lot of Southern Italians are more Eastern shifted. But as you can see, most of the Ashkenazi Jews do have an origin in the Middle East. They do have, a Semitic origin. There are only maybe 3 or 4 out of all of these that did not have anything. All of them had some kind of Turkish thing, which could be, a proxy for ancient Israelites. But so just to show, based on ancient DNA, Ashkenazi Jews mostly do have a Semitic origin. Okay, so now I'm going to show you on 2D space where we all kind of cluster. So you can see the African American sample is super far away from all of the other samples. Interestingly, the Hebrew Israelites like to say that they're African Americans are the true Israelites, but you have the Samaritan sample, which basically represents the purest biblical Israelite DNA that we have, not even close. An Ashkenazi person from France is closer to a Samaritan than an African American person. So if you notice, the Samaritan, Palestinian from Beit Sahor, Assyrian, they all kind of, they cluster around each other. You see the Ashkenazi samples all cluster around each other very heavily as well. A little bit below that, you have the Italian Abruzzo, Greek Carinthia. Here I am. And then you see German sample, Irish sample. So what you notice is I kind of fall in between, an Italian and a German Irish, which makes sense because that's literally in my mix. So that's what my DNA represents. Now, for an Ashkenazi Jew, they're a mix between, Samaritan, Palestinian, Assyrian, and, Italian, Abruzzo, Greek Carinthia, maybe a little bit like, in here it would be a little bit more northern, so maybe like Rome, possibly Tuscany. So they're a mix between some kind of southern central Italian and Middle Eastern genomes. That's basically it for this video, guys. Just wanted to debunk the claim that was made. Have a great day. God bless you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Spada del Signore. Out.